So since we are close to the release of Justice League vs. the Fatal 5, and since they were bringing back that oh so nostalgic DCAU animation, I thought I'd stop and rank my top 10 DCAU original characters. Coming in at number 10 is Roland Daggett. This is a character that is probably overlooked by a lot of people. He wasn't an amazing character, but he did do some very important things in Batman the Animated Series, most notably creating the DCAU's version of Clayface. Also, Catwoman was infected with a virus courtesy of Daggett. This leads Selina to actually go after him later on in the series, teaming with Batgirl and providing us with a good and entertaining episode of the show that doesn't even star Batman. This character, like many of the other characters on this list, has lived on past the DCAU. He was most notably portrayed as John Daggett by Ben Mendelsohn in The Dark Knight Rises. Number 9 is Mercy Graves, the personal assistant and bodyguard to Lex Luthor. Her presence was most notable during Superman the Animated Series, but she later appears in Justice League, having temporarily taken over as CEO of LexCorp, while Lex is in and out of prison. Her reach far extends from the DCAU, making her first appearance in comics not long after being established as a character. She's also appeared on numerous other TV shows, including Young Justice and Supergirl. Her only theatrical appearance at this moment is in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Next on the list is Blight, the big bad of Batman Beyond's first season. This was the closest thing Terry McGinnis had to a Joker. He was a corrupt businessman responsible for the death of Terry's father, so in a sense, he's the one responsible for the return of Batman, years after Bruce had to hang it up. His power levels are extreme as he puts off dangerous amounts of radiation. His clash with Mr. Freeze is one of the most memorable moments in the show's run, and just in the DCAU overall. Also, whilst rivaling Terry as Blight, he is a rival to Bruce Wayne and Wayne Industries on the business side of things. His ending in the show was somewhat disappointing though, and I feel like he could have done a little more. Coming in at number 7 is Inque, another adversary of Batman Beyond, and a formidable one at that. She's a shapeshifter who's quite possibly the most dangerous threat Terry ever faced, head to head. He was never capable of defeating her on his own, requiring the help of Bruce, Superman, the Justice League, and even Inque's own daughter. Inque provided some of the most entertaining, dark, and most memorable moments of the show. Her presence was always felt, and just the overall nature of her character was great. So this next entry may be cheating a little bit, but number 6 is Ace. There have been aces in the past in the Royal Flush Gang, but none before her were anything like her. She's a much more compelling and emotionally inept character. Essentially, she's a weapon created by the government. She's more troubled than she is evil, and her death in the Justice League Unlimited episode Epilogue is one of the most emotional and memorable moments in the entire DCAU. The line, "I was robbed of my childhood," moments before she dies, is just heartbreaking. Also, the sight of seeing Batman carry her out once she passes is one of the most memorable shots in the entire DCAU for me. Kicking off the top 5 is the Phantasm, a character deserving of their own comics run. Andrea Beaumont is one of the most memorable original characters to come out of this connected universe. She was formidable in every way to Batman, putting an unneeded and deserving target on his back, as her victims perceived her as the Bat. Some of the abilities showcased from the Phantasm seem almost supernatural as she disappears behind a cloud of smoke in several instances. Aside from this, she was a former love interest of Bruce, and love is something that Batman can let get to him on occasion. Just look at how often Catwoman escapes him. Number 4 is Renee Montoya. She did debut in mainstream comics before Batman the Animated Series started airing, but she was created for the show. While she was a respectable cop, she didn't really do too much to note inside the DCAU. The reason the character ranks so high is because of what's been done with her inside the comics. She's had relationships with the likes of Batwoman and became the Question in the mid-2000s. At number 3 is Nora Fries. This may seem like a bit of a dark horse pick, especially with her being ranked so high. She's the reason behind Mr. Freeze's tragic backstory though. That is of course what makes Freeze such a great and compelling villain. Mr. Freeze was easily the breakout character of Batman the Animated Series, and probably even the entire DCAU. I'm not sure if we've seen a character be elevated as much ever since. So even though she says nothing and is mostly inside a cryogenic chamber, Nora Fries comes in at number 3. Runner up on the list is Terry McGinnis. I personally wanted to put him at number 1, but he hasn't quite broken the barriers that the next character has. But Batman Beyond was something that seemed like a ridiculous idea, shouldn't have worked, and it exceeded expectations on every level. A lot of that is because of the titular character Terry McGinnis. The show was resting on his shoulders. As the show progressed, he progressed. There was a lot more Bruce in the first half of the show than there was in the second, because Terry was less dependent and had been becoming his own Batman over the show's run. I think Bruce puts it perfectly at the end of Batman Beyond Return of the Joker when he says,
Terry, I've been thinking about something you once told me, and you were wrong. It's not Batman that makes you worthwhile. It's the other way around. Never tell yourself anything different.
Thanks.
And number 1 is Harley Quinn. Who else could it be? She's the most memorable original DCAU character. She's a character that has defined a generation. Her merchandise sells like crazy. Quinn's popularity seemingly increases as the years go on, getting her own properties in most recent years. Starting off as a character very much connected to the Joker, although she still is connected to him, she has broken away from him more than some probably thought possible. A major presence in the DCAU and other notable franchises such as the Arkham games and DCEU, the character of Harley Quinn has become iconic. So there's my list. Let me know your list down in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching. I will see you guys sometime.